public hearing then.
All right, yeah, I got you.
No, we're going to set the hearing, we're going to have the resolution that set the hearing on the 17th.
And then,
And then, based on the public input, we may have more conditions that we want to.
We are now being live streamed.
Looks like we all survived.
Yeah.
we're just gonna pull for now. We can actually talk about it later too, but just to make sure everyone's on the same page. When was that?
Which one?
Oh, it was the 16th. Yeah, that's it.
He's like, exactly. It's open.
Clean it out now, I guess.
There's a lot of meetings and a lot of paper. You should know that, you're an attorney.
We're live streamed.
You get stuck in Rochester though, or you able to make it?
No, I was,
You're already here.
Paul, yeah, you did
Is that how I say it?
Eid.
Eid? Okay.
Friday.
I tried to call
They
it.
canceled the case.
Apparently that was, I wanted me to call him, so I did try. But he doesn't have his name on his voicemail. I just want to check and make sure I got it right. Eid.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, that postal address is not, you know,
Well, at least it saved all the driveway.
I don't even know, I got an email from Lisa, but I don't know, except for what I was asked to convey. I don't know why, or what he did wrong. And I didn't look it up on the tax map, so I don't know that. But I will call again.
Here, hoping we can run this sun and.
Okay, so we'll start our work session. We have no special guest for tonight as far as the session goes. Yeah, I was had a very busy last few days. Compliments to our highway department, our police force, and our recreation department for the great job that they've done, working numerous hours, and getting our roads clear, keeping our people safe. But again, we'll address that to the general public when that comes up. I was on calls all week, obviously, with the county and that. Right now, we're going to be gearing up to get some funding for all these costs. I was on a call with the state this afternoon. Have another call tomorrow at 11 with the county. So I have pushed out all information to all the department heads, giving you the information, and council copied on it as well. But giving everybody information on what qualifies. I know, Michelle, you had some questions. Some of them were answered in the stuff I forwarded you. I got that after I got your questions. So we are going to obviously go after any monies that we can to help us, take care of some of the extra funds that we had to spend for this massive storm. So I think I've been through it all since I came in this seat. I've been through a pandemic. We had riots in Buffalo. We have had a major storm. So I don't know what else can happen. But anyway, but I'll open it up now to our, what's this?
Knock on something.
Don't tempt fate.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe some different type of bug will come and kill some more trees or so. I don't know, who knows what'll happen. Well, there is something coming, actually. We did learn. That's our discussion with John Pilato on that, but there is another threat out there that may be coming in the next number of years on another source of tree. So, any reports from our?
Just briefly now, but I'll expand during the regular meeting.
Yeah.
I did dedicate the whole last really nice day of the year with the DEC Region 8 to review our floodplain administration program. As a community assistance visit, we had 3 members from the DEC present, and we toured the town and visited 7 predetermined locations, and we were able to identify some other areas that they were looking for some documentation, just to measure how we were coming along with our floodplain administration. So I'll be sending them some more information, and again, I'll expand during the meeting.
Okay. And just for the record, Bob, you have the invocation and the pledge tonight. We have 27 pre-filed resolutions, 1 suspended resolution, 3 public hearings. We actually have 2 executive sessions. We're closing in memory of 4 people. So let's move on. Ed, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, just real quick, a couple things. Youth Bureau, we've got the rough numbers in, we're just waiting for a decision from county on some funding for the door, redoing the doors out there. Historic building, I sent you an email.
You sent me an email.
Yeah,
I
that's
forgot my
okay.
calendar tonight. I'll
That-
get
that's
back
fine,
with you
yeah.
tomorrow on a better date.
So hopefully, we're meeting with the architect next week to get his take on what he's found so far and reviewed. The impound fence is under construction. I don't know if it's, last time I looked, it wasn't done. Is it done?
The dog?
No, the impound, police impound.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's totally done. I haven't really been back there in the last few days.
It's not, okay. Not. They haven't finished all the fencing, okay. Police cameras, we've been in touch with NICEAG on a poll agreement, going back and forth. I gave, waiting for, I left a message for Lieutenant. I just need some information from him, and maybe you guys can answer. One of the questions they asked is who's going to be signing the agreement. I didn't know if it would be supervisor or the chief. Doesn't make any difference, I just have to give them an answer.
You're talking about with NICEAG?
Yes.
That'll be our supervisor.
Okay, that's fine. Then I can give them that brief information and they can get a draft agreement. So, and the park, like I said, it's into the Corps for their review and determination, and the survey is complete. Really don't want to go too much further to hear back from the Corps, because that'll dictate what's usable, what's not usable. So that's where that stands. And then in dog control, I did do a grant extension. They asked for an extension, just not wrapped up yet. I put in 3 months. They came back and said, do 6. I said, okay, so I redid it for 6 months. So that's where that stands.
Can I just follow up? The meeting that you sent me the email, is that the rescheduled meeting from Friday that we were having with the museum? Or is that the one for the repairs?
This is the one, the architect's looking at contracts, what was done.
The old work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Dan, anything from the clerk's office?
Nope, but I do want to thank the parks, if it's Michelle, or, we had 3 days of no heat in the old part of the town hall last week, and so we were freezing, but they got the boiler fixed, and I thank you for doing that.
Nothing from
Attorney's
me.
office? Chief, anything? Ron, I don't know if we should let you go at 7 o'clock or let you go now, but I know you could probably talk. Ron and I have been on the phone constantly during this whole storm, giving updates. I mean, you could probably speak now.
It actually was coordinated pretty well throughout the whole county. There were a lot of questions at first about, the county executive issuing a state of emergency for the entire county and a parking ban or a driving ban for the entire county, but it actually worked out pretty well. Once the north towns didn't get hit, they were able to lift that right away. We attempted to have it lifted in Lancaster on Sunday morning. We were denied, which...
And that was after Ron toured the town, and I talked to Highway Superintendent Pilato.
Highway Department did a phenomenal job.
We were clear, but the issue that they were having was that they were in fear of people from these communities going into the other communities. And they were having that. People were going in because they wanted to see what 6 feet of snow was like, and they were getting stuck. So that was kind of the reason why they were kind of holding off on releasing the driving bans.
So like I said, the coordination amongst the county and all the locals worked out really well. An issue that still has to be addressed with the state thruway authority shutting that thruway down. They dumped all that traffic onto the local roads with absolutely no assistance and no concern for the locals. They do it every time. And we have tried to hash it out in different emergency manager meetings, and their feelings basically are we don't really care as long as we're not on the news again. showing, 500 vehicles stuck on the thruway for 2 days. So
Did they-
that's the thing, shut it down, dump it to the local roads, and then
So-
leave
so-
it for us to deal with.
Have studies been done by, or actually meetings with the state and the county and things of that nature? Because as you stated, when they shut down, it dumps down on our roads, and now these tractor trailers are jamming up intersections. We had in the town of Eden, I believe, or Evans, I think it was Evans, we had a train hit a tractor trailer, okay, and stuck on a track.
Well, some of the managers have talked, what we're hoping to do is sit down and come up with a better plan. If they shut it down, you're gonna have to put, throughway troopers wherever it's gonna be shut down, and then direct them where to go.
Park them?
Instead of just letting them come off the throughway, and then they can go wherever they wanna go from there. Direct them, to a way around the storm. Or, whether it's gonna be the locals, or it's going to be the state or the county opening up a big lot to stage these tractor trailers and direct them. I know when I was on the road, snowstorms, when we were here shutting the thruway down, I used to send 2 cars up the transit and the thruway, and tell them go north. Eastern Hills Mall, you can stack up there. And then really, once they got early, I didn't really care when they were on top.
I'm sure Clarence appreciated that.
So, but, I mean, it's what they ended up doing in Hamburg, using the McKinley Mall, and it's the same thing that we can do up here. It's just, the municipalities agree, or the state or the county agree to plow a private lot, private property, to open it up to stack all of these tractor trailers and cars if they need to. But my plan, again, is always Eastern Hills.
And as you
Picking up
state,
lots to stack them up.
in a situation like this, you cannot, the coordination is so critical, because it all depends on that ban. Where that ban is going, where it started, where it's ending up, where it's coming back to. That's gonna have coordination on how to plan and where to send these vehicles as well. It just so happens, so again, everybody has to communicate with everybody, otherwise it just doesn't work out for
All in
anyone.
all, I thought it worked out really well. And again, kudos to the highway department, I thought they did. They have everything open like Sunday, really Saturday night, but Sunday morning.
Just one question. How much notice do they give you when they're shutting down the thruway?
So we were notified, when did it start? Thursday night? Thursday during the day.
Okay.
Whenever the governor, when she issued a statement, so that was part of what they were, when they started shutting down everything.
Okay.
And it wasn't just the through, 219 to 400 to 33 to 290 to 90 and all of that. They shut everything down right away. So,
Good job. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, Michelle?
Well, obviously, we've been through quite a long haul here. Kudos to the guys in the department. I mean, we really all worked very hard, starting at 8:30 Thursday night, all the way basically to Sunday morning, a couple breaks here and there, give them a little rest. Mailboxes are an issue. The weight of the snow, we weren't hitting them. You will get complaints because the phone is not stopping. We're talking a lot of them. You go down the road, it just follow one after
Yeah, I don't think
another.
people realize, they're blaming the trucks for hitting them, and that's 99% of the time, I don't think it's the trucks. It's the snow.
Definitely wasn't the truck.
It's the snow, the weight of the snow,
off the
yeah.
thing.
And anybody that did any shoveling, this weekend knows that snow was very heavy. It was a wet snow off the lake, and when you had to shovel 6, 8 inches or plow 6, 8 inches, it was solid. And we're talking, we had feet, so.
What is the procedure for people who lost their mailboxes?
Well, that's another issue. The procedure is, we will replace your standard mailbox, which is your wooden post with your gray dots, which obviously with 6 feet of snow, we can't put it in the post. Or if there's a Rubbermaid or a more glorified mailbox, the town reimburses up to 75%. Problem with these mailboxes is many of these mailboxes are in rough shape, even ahead of this.
Michelle, it's $75, right?
$75.
Not percent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
$75. Up to $75 once a year, back have to have the receipts in by June, July 1st, and the town reimburses them. The problem here is, there's many that, they were just falling over. And we're talking hundreds of mailboxes. We got, mounds of snows on the corners. People aren't able to get through mail. We're not able to keep up with that because there's just that many. And a lot of them were, some of these residents' mailboxes were in rough shape to begin with. What is this gonna cost? I don't know. We ordered 2 pallets of just standard mailboxes and posts today, and that was quite significant, which we're gonna, hopefully FEMA will assist with that. As far as the reimbursements, it's hard to say, because we don't know what was there. It's a difficult issue, but there is a lot of them down.
Full disclosure, there's about 10 down on my street,
Full disclosure,
including
I
mine, that
believe-
it turned sideways, but I will not ask for reimbursement, save the town a few bucks. But the rest, there are quite a few on my street that, a couple of them are missing, they have no idea where they went, so.
We can't even keep up with phones.
They'll find them in the spring.
You hang them up, there's probably 100 on voicemail that we've missed. It was all day today.
So call highway for the people who are, mailboxes were
We
knocked
can
out.
call highway, but I was going to ask the board tonight if we could put something maybe on the town website and Facebook, our Facebook page, that if the residents could assist in these minor repairs and get them up, we're not going to be able to get everywhere. It's impossible. I mean, you can't do 2 on Vivian Way and 6 on Front and on and on and on every street in the town. Some of them have, your mains have probably a lot because of the bigger streets with all the snow coming off. I don't know if the town, if that is asking not to do something like that, or if we could at least ask the residents for their assistance so they can get mail. That's all I have, and we could only get 240 mailboxes. And we're hoping they come tomorrow. So we have probably 100 at the shop. So I don't know if that's something we could put on our Facebook and the town website, or
Can we set up an email, mailboxes at lancasterny.gov, and put on the Facebook and put on the
I
website?
don't do Facebook, somebody else.
we,
But that they could, instead of calling you, taking those 50 calls, if they could send in an email request that could all go to some central email, I don't know, just, it might save you guys a couple hours a day just in phone calls when you can dedicate that time to getting the work done. If it's that easy to set up an email.
Or even send it to, like yourself, versus the phone calls, just have the emails come into you, right?
still have to write them all down, break them up between north, south, and center in order to get the crews
Yeah, it's
in some kind of way.
It's a project.
to get productive.
Yeah, it's a project. The only thing that, asking them to do it, some of these folks may be very elderly and are not able to do it. I would have a concern with that, for sure. But, I don't, maybe we could address that in the email, saying that if you'd like to put it up yourself, we can drop it off immediately. Or, you know what I'm saying? And that would, they could indicate, have the town put it up or you put it up. I don't know. I'm just trying to save you a little bit of time without jeopardizing some of our residents that don't have the ability to do that type of work at this point.
And the cul-de-sacs, those were also quite difficult. Just couldn't get around once we started mounting the snow in the center, and it would come falling at the rate like that. We were a little delayed because we had to get loaders to move the snow for the trucks to get around. But other than that, I think they did a phenomenal job keeping up.
Agreed.
Thankfully, it going from north to south, back and forth, that even, we send the whole crew to the south, or the whole crew to the north at times, and we were able to keep up, so kudos to them.
Absolutely. I went to through a couple different towns, and by far Lancaster was the best, so good job.
You drove during the driving ban?
I drove after the driving ban was listed, only in areas that you could drive it.
I also want to thank the Parks and Recreation guys because they struggled too with their team and were able to get the buildings open and most of the park open, and that was also a lot. So just kudos to both departments.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? So let's go through our resolutions. So number one is myself, the minutes normally, and then number two is the audit of claims. Councilmember Mazur, number three.
Three is the biannual, or excuse me, bi-weekly building permit.
And then Councilmember Burkhart, number four.
Confirm membership roster, Town Line Volunteer Fire Department.
Councilmember Leary, number five.
It's to set a public hearing for local law establishing a local government code enforcement program, local law code enforcement program change.
Okay. Councilmember Mazur, number 6 through 9, please.
Number 6 is to approve a site plan of Classic 2 on 80 Rotech Drive. Number 7 is to adopt a seeker negative declaration of 10 Lake Master Parkway. Number 8 is to amend the zoning map, rezone at 5827 Broadway. Number 9 is to approve the site plan at 5827 Broadway.
Councilmember Dickman, number 10.
Number 10 is to set a public hearing for a special use permit for the storage of recreational vehicles on Lancaster Parkway.
And number 11 is mine, is to proclaim November 26th as Small Business Saturday. Councilmember Leary, number 12.
It's also another setting a public hearing dealing with local law permit and application fees revision.
And 13 is mine, to accept the streetlights at Cross Creek Phase number 8 subdivision. And then we go over to Councilmember Dickman for number 14.
14 is just accepting the completion of the private improvements of the storm sewers at Cross Creek Phase 9.
Councilmember Burkhart, number 15.
Accept proposal grinding and removal of brush material, Genesee site, to Lardon Construction Corp.
And Councilmember Mazur, 16 and 17.
16, we're going to pull, we're going to have to, we want to talk to the new people that are taking over the Motorplex place in Dunville there. We're going to have a special hearing so that people are informed about the, because of the new ownership, that the people have a chance to talk regarding the sound, like Hall House and some other main neighbors had made issue with it in the past, so we're going to try to set a public hearing next meeting.
Okay.
17 is to authorize a special use permit for custom kitchen cabinets at 4401 Walden Avenue. We approved the site plan last week.
18 is mine, to appoint a permanent, part-time permanent person in Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. And Councilmember Burkhart, number 19.
Authorize preparation of PO-17 form for new position duties statement for one police captain.
Okay, 20 and 21 are both mine, and they're appointing our new police officers that will be joining the force. And then 22 will be myself to authorize the attendance of our town justice-elect, David Sabler, to taking some courses. And 23 is to appoint Assessor Review Board member. 24 is authorize a 3-year agreement with William Shutt. And then Councilman Mazur, you finish off with 25 through 27.
25 is to approve the minor subdivision split 2 on 10 Lancaster Parkway. Number 26 is to approve the site plan at 5841 Genesee Street, which is some storage buildings. And number 27 is to authorize special use permit that same site.
Okay. All right, so we'll reconvene at about,
Suspended.
oh, sorry, yeah, we have one suspended resolution. Thank you. The suspended resolution, actually, we're losing our Director of Finance, and we have hired or found a replacement that we'll be putting on to a little bit early to help Pam train this person. So, and that's it for the resolutions. Okay, so we have about 8 minutes, so we can reconvene. Hey, Dave, a second.
So I ended up spending a good portion of the day over at Carly and Gabe's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
The ice jam at the roof line with the gutters, their wall's falling in and part of their ceiling is falling in. It's like raining inside.
The biggest problem with all this is that with this storm, most people, I think, get their gutters cleaned out.
Yeah, I didn't get mine. I had a guy on the hook and he got busy.
Yeah, and
We'll see where it goes.
stuff, it was wet to begin with,
Right?
and now
Now
that it's warmed up, it's gonna be a lot of problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm worried what's going to come down.
It's helpful to know.
Well, they had the one barn in town here come in,
Already? This
in the corner of William and Bowen,
okay.
southwest corner, that big old Victorian house.
Yeah.
Their barn.
No kidding.
Yeah.
William and Bowling.
Southwest corner is that big old
I know
Victorian.
you're talking about. They did a lot of work on the home
Yes.
over the years. Like a lot of work.
Yeah, the barn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be problems if people don't. I mean, I was up and down Transit today. There were a lot of crews out on the commercial sites because they're flat roofs,
Yeah. Well,
shoveling away.
and I realize there's limitations on where you can put snow, but it is just be personal. Nothing to do with any of this. It's impossible to safely, without a little bit of luck, get in and out of side streets and in and out of
Can't see.
plazas, because some of this stuff is,
You can't see.
you can't see around it. And if you inch,
I almost took somebody out. There's that Tim Hortons by Tops by the school of Hillview.
oh yeah,
He came. I mean, I was tooling up Transit Road, and all of a sudden, there was nose in his car.
yeah. Yeah, we all just gotta, I guess, be a little bit slower, at least until Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah,
when it's
it'll
supposed to get-
melt down a little bit.
It'll melt a little bit. And compact, I hope.
Yeah.
So if there's a way we can.
So did they,
To, if we can ask.
in the apartment, are they move them out, or are they just watching it, or what are they doing?
Didn't move them out yet. Thankfully, they've got renter's insurance. They were told to do that.
For themselves?
So if we have to get them out, there is a component that allows for
Relocation.
relocation expenses. But the one wall is it's drywall.
Thursday was probably
But it
the
is
nice day we're gonna have.
when the maintenance crew came in to tear some of that out, there had to be 15 gallons of water in the wall. Yeah.
Right straight down to the
And I don't know what's happening to the apartment downstairs.
same thing.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Do the same thing.
It's a mess.
And once it gets in there, it backs up under that eave. Daughter's apartment walls came in, the ice cans, water backed up on the roof. Nothing you can do about it.
No, this is stuff you gotta do.
Yeah, and probably, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Mess around with that stuff.
Appreciate Iru Goldberg. A lot of it. I went and got gutters
Use those forms.
so that the
On the
water's
inside.
coming in on the inside.
So,
So that it
I would
goes in
think,
the middle
no,
and
I
then
would
goes
think
down
not.
into the
If
5
they
gallon
included,
bucket.
did I send you an email with the new form?
No, and
I'm no engineer.
I thought the worst part of it.
No, not what I printed.
On the carpets.
yeah,
Mine's on my desk. Let me see,
It's all
let me see your
gonna have to
form. I thought that
Blow
was.
it up, pull it out, redone.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna do any of that, I guess.
Can I permit that for you?
I would like you not to. I'd like you to deny the permit as long as possible.
They,
where
and I'll ask that tomorrow because they wouldn't let us speak. This was a call at the state. Okay. So, but I thought, yeah. So where is
Then
that?
they tell us what it's
Right,
called.
okay.
They tell us
Yep.
this.
But I thought there was a form in there too. No, that's saying it's. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What is this?
Somebody left it on my desk.
It's not a form? 'Cause
This
it,
is not the form.
okay.
Oh,
I think I
can you send me the old form? Because I'm on a call tomorrow with the county, that's where I have to ask that question.
Yeah, all the forms we put in the account.
Okay, I got a call 11 o'clock tomorrow, so if you could send me, because I'll probably have to send that form to them. Say, this is is this still acceptable? Yeah, well, yeah. But I want to get your question answered.
And then I
That was
did
SBH, yeah.
like,
Okay.
you know, there are some invoices.
Okay. Well, do what we can do. You know, again, these windows are like this. Just like we did with the COVID one, remember? We had to submit all this stuff within a couple of days. So, but,
Type of reputation.
okay.
Michelle, John already went lost. Did John already go down? Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. Could just be a note.
Yeah, probably park your blower and stuff behind it, good smoke.
Well, a couple hundred.
Well, there's no outlets.
Call the meeting to order. Diane, would you please do roll call?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Here.
Councilmember Dickman.
Here.
Councilmember Leary.
Here.
Councilmember Mazer.
Here.
Supervisor Rufino.
Here, Councilmember Leary, can you do the pledge and invocation, please? Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, short prayer. Thank you, Lord, for the blessing you have bestowed on my life. I'd like to take this opportunity right now and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving from the Leary family and the rest of our board here. Thanksgiving is about family, so I hope you have a great Thanksgiving with your family. Thank you.
Okay, tonight's meeting, we have 27 pre-filed resolutions, 1 suspended resolution, 3 public hearings, 2 executive sessions. We'll be closing in memory of 4 people: Claire Schlum, Maria Pilato Brown, who's the sister of our highway superintendent, Dorothy Solari, and Philip McCula. So at this point, we'll ask anybody that'd like to address the board on either any of the 27 pre-filed resolutions or the 1 suspended.
It's 26, because we put it.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, and I should announce that we did pull number 16, so it's really 26 pre-filed, because we did pull number 16. No questions on that? Okay. Then we get 7:05 we go into, so we'll go to official reports. Matt, anything from you?
Yes, Thursday last week, I was able to spend the day with the DEC Region 8 representatives. They reviewed our floodplain administration program. We visited approximately 7 sites throughout the town. We identified some other deficiencies, and we're able to report back to them once they give us an update on their report for the visit. We did have some pretty good discussions on some remediation projects that we could be planning, specifically towards Ellicott Creek. Other discussions on RV storage within the floodplain and vehicle storage in general. And I know that's a pretty hot topic right now with our planning board and town board liaison. Pond installations, things of that nature, just throughout the town that we identified on that day touring the township. So I am thankful that we got ahead of our floodplain administration, that we're able to provide some permitting on some key projects. We'll be providing not as-built, but pre-construction conditions to justify some of the questions that they had in some of our subdivisions where floodplain hazard areas were identified. And just by verifying their pre-construction elevations, again, justifying the construction that happened in those areas. So I'm looking forward to their final report back to us. I'll be getting them some documentation, and I'll copy this board on my replies to them as well.
Okay, thank you. We have a minute before we go to public hearing. So first, I'm glad everybody made it through the storm. I'd like to thank, I'm sure the town board agrees, with our highway department and our rec department. They all did a tremendous job, as well as our police force, in keeping our roads clear, keeping our residents safe, our first responders as well, just getting out and making all the calls they had to make. It's, we don't get storms like this often, but when we do, it's nice to know that we have the proper people in place. They're out there doing a fine job for us and you folks as the residents, to make sure that we are clear and safe as we move through this. Nobody's asking to have 4 to 7 feet of snow dumped on you, but it happens. And we just have to deal with it the best we can. One thing I'll say is that, there's a great cost involved with that. I'm on calls with the state today. I was on calls. There's going to be some funding that we're going to have to go after. I'm on the calls tomorrow with the county. There's a lot of work to be done by our department heads that have extended expenses, and hopefully we can recover some of those funds through the FEMA monies that come through. So we'll do our best that we can so that the taxpayers of the town of Lancaster do not basically burden all the cost that this storm have costed us. So, Ron, we're going to let you speak as soon as we're done with the public hearings, our OEM coordinator. It is 7:05 now, so I'd like to ask for a motion to open public hearing number 1, which is for 16 Birchwood Common.
Motion to open?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the authority set forth in Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster and the Town Law of the State of New York, and pursuant to a resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster adopted on the 7th day of November, 2022, the Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 21st day of November, 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time here at 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster Town Hall, to hear all interested persons upon the application of Jeffrey Kursitz for the special use permit for a home occupation, which is Ace Sealing Company, Inc., on premises locally known as 16 Birchwood Common in the town of Lancaster, County of Erie, State of New York. Would anybody like to speak on this public hearing? I know the petitioner is here. Would you like to say anything at all?
No, I just didn't know that it was needed. I'm sorry I didn't have it in place since the beginning, but I'm glad to get it resolved.
Okay, any questions for the petitioner at all? Okay, can I have a motion to close this public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
And we have a second. On the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open public hearing number 2, which is on model home permits, building permits?
Motion open.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 23 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster on November 7, 2022, the Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 21st day of November, 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time at 21 Central Avenue, our Town Hall, for the purpose of considering and possibly adopting a local law to amend the Town Code of the Town of Chapter 400 zoning, Article 8, regulation applying to all districts, Section 38 subdivision by amending subsection 400-38 and adding subsection 400-38, which is H9, so it's H4. There's all these numbers in here. Model home permits and H10 building permits. Copies of the proposed local law can be reviewed at the Lancaster Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue during normal business hours. All members of the public shall be heard. Anybody like to speak on public hearing number 2? I'll ask for a second time and a third time. We have a motion to close public hearing number 2.
Motion to close?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
We have a motion to open a public hearing for number 3, which is site plan reviews procedures.
Motion to open number 3?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 23 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster on November 7th, 2022, the Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 21st day of November, 2022 at 7:05 PM, local time here at 21 Central Avenue, Town Hall, for purposes of considering and possibly adopting a local law to amend the Town Code of the Town of Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, administration and enforcement, site plan review procedures. Copies of the proposed local law can be reviewed at the Lancaster Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, during normal business hours. All members of the public shall be heard. Anybody like to speak on public hearing number 3? I'll ask for a second time and a third time. May I have a motion to close public hearing number 3?
Motion to close?
Have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, so we're going to move back into official reports. Ed, do you have anything? No. Okay, Ron, you want to come up to the microphone? And Ron Rosla, Office of Emergency Management Person, who he and I grew very close over this past snowstorm with multiple calls, multiple hours of the day. But I got to admit that Ron does a terrific job for our town. He is on the ball. He's on all these calls. He's running around doing everything that needs to be done to keep this township in the best, in the best interest of the residents, making sure that we're all safe. So Ron, take it from there.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to brief the town board on how the storm went. It was coordinated at all levels very well this time around, from the state issuing their emergency declarations and the county down to the town. We still have an ongoing issue with the State Thruway Authority. When they shut down, there's really no plan for that traffic other than to dump it onto the local roads. And then the local municipalities have to deal with that. So it's been an ongoing issue, and I'm sure it'll come up again in the debrief of this storm. And we want to make sure we address that to come up with a really good plan. But I tried to keep the town board as updated as I could throughout the storm. Like the supervisor said, we're in constant contact, and then through emails with the rest of the town board members. And things went well. Highway Department did a phenomenal job. They have our roads down to pavement by basically Saturday night into Sunday morning. And we discussed numerous times about filing our own state of emergency. We fell under the state's state of emergency, we fell under the county's state of emergency, and we really didn't see any benefit to issuing one for the town, other than just a file.
Yeah, the only thing we were thinking about was that if we had,
Could you hang on one second? Is that microphone live that you're at right there? Could you tap on it?
I just
Yeah, no,
noticed
the
that
cord
there's
is
no
down.
cord.
Yeah, This has got no cord.
Dave doesn't have a cord either.
People watching unfortunately didn't hear anything you said, so
It's from the,
maybe a brief summary for the people watching.
they removed everything for the election in here, and they didn't reconnect.
No wonder why they can't hear.
thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
So the coordination from the storm went very well. Highway Department did a phenomenal job. And again, like I said, I try and keep the town board members as updated as I possibly can with everything that comes through. I was on almost every conference call. I think I missed one of them Saturday morning. Why they have them at 7 o'clock in the morning, not really sure.
Yeah, twice a day we were on, 7 in the morning, 7 at night.
So, and that was basically how they ran the operations center for the county, the 12-hour shifts down there. Like I said, it went well. During the debrief, we'll identify some other problems, and hopefully we'll have all of those addressed.
And Ron, you mentioned about, declaring a state of emergency. One of the reasons why we decided not to is because it gave us no benefit. The only time like you would want to do that, if it was going to jeopardize us filing for FEMA funds, we certainly would put it in. But in checking, it did not.
But
So-
yeah, we fell under the counties and under
Right.
the state's state of emergency, so it really didn't give us a benefit other than, like I said, filing a piece of paper saying that we were under our own state of emergency.
Yeah, and state of emergency, if say they lifted the driving ban and it was still really bad here, okay, then we would have to declare a state of emergency and put our own driving ban on. But we didn't see any any reason why to do this going forward, just a file a piece of paper. We certainly were ready to. The form is ready to go if needed, but as we monitored the storm, by the hour, we just felt that there was no need to declare our own state of emergency.
And I'll do some more research into that with the county, through the town attorney, just to make sure that we're not missing anything. Just to make, that once it's filed by the county, that we fall under that. Because again, the biggest thing would be reimbursements. We did discuss the possibility, would it affect purchasing power as far as if we had a couple major breakdowns, being able to go out and either do repairs or make purchases without the 3-bid process and stuff like that. But mostly everything goes state bidding anyways. So I think, like I said, I think we were covered no matter what happened. But again, I just want to do a little bit more research first, just to make sure that we didn't miss anything. The other towns that I spoke to, the emergency managers, basically their answer was, well, we always do it. It's just something that they've always done, so they continue to do it for any storm, or even when there's an emergency declared above them, as in this case by the county. So that's all I have. Like I said, again, I think things went really well, and all the departments worked well together and did a great job.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for keeping us updated. You did a great job.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, report of town board committees. Anything from anybody?
I just got one real quick. On November 16th, before the planning board meeting, the Planning and Zoning Committee, we had our first RV storage ordinance ad hoc meeting. It was attended by John Copes from the planning board, and also Rebecca Anderson couldn't make it. We had 2 people there from the public. It'd be great to have a couple more people there. Matt Michelle also was there. And we started to look at other towns' ordinances regarding RV storage. And they got the group that was there was handed a bunch of ordinances from other towns to look at, and they're going to do a little homework, and we're going to meet back December 7th at 5:30 before the planning board meeting to discuss any changes that they like out of other ordinances, other community ordinances, and then we'll rehash again and take a look at it again. But more input from the public would be greatly appreciated. And again, 5:30 to 6:15 in the council chambers here on December 7th. And I know that the planning board also is meeting with the Buffalo Waterkeepers at 6:15 for a presentation that day before their meeting too. So,
thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then we're going to move on to our resolutions. I'd like to move resolution number 1. This resolved the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held November 7th, 2022, being hereby approved. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 2, and this is out the following audit claims, being hereby ordered paid from their respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the assistant to the supervisor. It's check run number 112122022. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid is $432,749.36. May I have a second?
second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, number 3, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Be it resolved that the following building permit applications are and hereby reaffirmed. There is a total of 53 in the town and village, 35 in the town, 18 in the village. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications herein coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and hereby reaffirmed with a waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 4, please.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I'm offering Resolution 4 for adoption, whereas the Town Line Volunteer Fire Department, by letter dated November 7th, 2022, has requested the addition of 1 member to the roster of said fire association. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby confirms the addition to the membership of the Town Line Volunteer Fire Department, the following individual: Mark Hallmarson.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Leary, number 5, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas the municipal home rule law of the state of New York and Chapter 23 of the town of Lancaster provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas a proposed local law of the year 2022 has been introduced entitled Establishing a Local Government Code Enforcement Program, which will amend the code of the town of Lancaster by repealing the current Chapter 140, Construction Codes Uniform. Within the town of Lancaster's Town Code, it is entirely and replacing it in its entirety and replacing it with a newly revised Chapter 140 Code Enforcement Program in order to comply with New York State requirements. And whereas the proposed local law of 2022 shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof, and whereas pursuant to the Town of Lancaster Code and the Municipal Home Rule Law, a public hearing is required on the proposed local law. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that Number 1, a public hearing for the proposed local law is hereby set for the 5th day of December, 2022 at 7:05 p.m. Number 2, the town clerk is directed to provide notice of the public hearing as required by law. And number 3, this resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. We are pulling number 9, so Councilmember Mazer, would you number 6 through 8, please? Oh, I'm sorry, no, sorry. Yeah, number 6 through 9. Not pulling, we're pulling 16.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas Paul Fix of Fix Associates, on behalf of Classic Tube, has submitted an amended site plan for the proposed development of an 18,800 square foot building and 7,483 square foot paved parking area, which include a location map dated June 28, 2022, and drawings dated August 2022, with a revision date of June 13th, 2022, prepared by James Rumsey, architect, and received June 28th, 2022, a topographic survey dated March 2nd, 2022, and drawings dated June 22nd, 2022, prepared by Bissell Stone Associates, and both received on June 28th, 2022, and lastly, drawings prepared by Christopher Andrzejewski, dated June 22nd, 2022, and received September 19th, 2022, for the expansion of current operations at the existing site located at 80 Rotec Drive in the town of Lancaster. Whereas the amended site plan for this project was submitted to the planning board and recommended for the approval at their October 5th, 2022 meeting, and whereas the planning board completed an environmental review October 5th, 2022 in the conformance with SEQR, and the town board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on October 17th, 2022. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the amended site plan submitted by Paul Fix Associates, LLC, on behalf of Classic Tube for the proposed development of an 18,800 square foot building and 7,483 square foot paved parking area, which included a location map dated June 28th, 2022, drawings dated August 20th, 2022, with a revision date of June 13th, 2022, prepared by James Rumsey, architect, and both received June 28th, 2022, a topographic survey dated March 2nd, 2022, and drawings dated June 22nd, 2022, prepared by Bissell Stone Associates, and both received on June 28th, 2022, and lastly, drawings, all prepared by Christopher Andrzejewski, dated June 22nd, 2022, and received September 19th, 2022, for the expansion of current operations at the existing site located at 80 Rotec Drive in the town of Lancaster with the following conditions. Number 1, contracted to provide an as-built survey to the building department prior to any certificates of occupancy or compliance being issued. And 2, private improvement permit be required to initiate construction.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 7, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board is considering a two-lot minor subdivision application submitted by Keith Wilkinson from an existing 4.13 acre parcel located at 10 Lancaster Parkway in the Town of Lancaster, and whereas Town of Lancaster Planning Board has reviewed the environmental impact of this subdivision project pursuant to seeker regulations at their meeting on November 2nd, 2022, and recommended that a negative declaration be issued. And whereas the Town Board has duly considered the plans for the subdivision using the short environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in seeker, and such other information deemed appropriate, including the recommendation of the Town of Lancaster Planning Board. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination, and whereas the proposed action has been labeled an unlisted action under seeker. Now therefore it be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that, number 1, this project is described as a two-lot minor subdivision submitted by Keith Wilkinson from an existing 4.13 acre parcel located at 10 Lancaster Parkway, will not result in any large or important impacts, and therefore it is an action which will not have significant adverse impact on the environment. For this reason, the Town Board issues the attached negative declaration of the environmental significance for the reasons stated therein. 2, the Town Clerk shall file a copy of the negative declaration in the file for the project. 3, the Town Attorney's Office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and county agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And this, number 4, this resolution will take effect immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 4, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Where is it?
8, what, number 8?
8, I'm sorry. Resolution number 8. Whereas a public hearing was held on November 7th, 2022, on the petition of Lucas James for the rezone of a parcel of land located at 5827 Broadway, Lancaster, New York, from a light commercial to multifamily residential mixed-use district. And whereas the Town Planning Board has completed an environmental review of the project on October 5th, 2022, in conformance with seeker, and the Town Board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on November 7th, 2022. And whereas the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster recommended approval of the rezone on its October 17th, 2022 meeting, and whereas notices of said public hearings were duly published and posted, and whereas in accordance with Section 239M of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, the Erie County Department of Planning has reviewed such application for the rezone and has no objection with respect thereto. Now therefore be it resolved, number 1, that the zoning ordinance, the zoning map of the Town of Lancaster is hereby amended and changed so that the real property hereinafter described is changed from a light commercial to a multifamily residential mixed-use district with the following condition. The site plan, number 2210, be approved. Should extensive changes be indicated on subsequent site plan submissions, this town receives the right to rescind the rezone and return the property herein described to its original zoning. With this is 5827 Broadway, SBL number 11631-1-3, with a parcel description included. Property to be rezoned from LC to MFMU consists of approximately 1.23 acres. 2, that said ordinance amendment be added to the minutes of the meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held on the 21st day of November 2022. 3, that a certified copy of thereof published in the official newspaper of the Town of Lancaster pursuant to town law. 4, the affidavits of publication be filed with the Town Clerk. And 5, the certified copy of this resolution be furnished to the Erie County Department of Planning.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Resolution number 9. Whereas Lucas James has submitted a site plan application for approval which contains drawings dated 30th January 2022 and dated January 24th, 2022, both prepared by Dean Architects and received April 5th, 2022, and drawings prepared by DEL Resource with final revisions dates of March 10th, 2022, updated on March 20th, 2022, and received March 29th, 2022, and drawing C2 with final revision date of May 12th, 2022, and updated on May 12th, 2022, and received May 13th, 2022, for the proposed construction of a mixed-use facility to include approximately 18,000 square foot building. First floor will consist of 2 ADA-approved apartments and 3 retail professional office spaces, including a coffee shop with a drive-through to be located at 5827 Broadway in the town of Lancaster. And whereas the site plan for this project was submitted to the planning board and was recommended for approval on their June 15th, 2022 meeting, and whereas the town planning board has completed the environmental review of the project on April 20th, 2022, in conformance with seeker regulations, and the town board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on May 16th, 2022. Now therefore it be resolved that the town of Lancaster, the town board of the town of Lancaster, hereby approves the site plan submitted by Lucas James, which contains drawings from January 30th, 2022, January 24th, 2022, prepared by Dean Architects, and received April 5th, 2022, and drawings prepared by Dell Resource with final revision dates of March 10th, 2022, updated on March 20th, 2022, and received March 29th, 2022, and drawing C2 with final revision date of May 12th, 2022, and updated on May 12th, 2022, and received May 13th, 2022, for the proposed construction of a mixed-use facility to include approximately 18,000 square foot building. First floor will consist of 2 ADA-approved apartments with 3 retail professional office spaces, including a coffee shop with a drive-through to be located at 5827 Broadway in the town of Lancaster with the following conditions. Number 1, approval is only for option B relating to the location of the dumpster, which will be located and remain in the property owned by the applicant. 2, a private improvement permit will be required to initiate construction. 3, contractor to provide an as-built survey to the building department prior to any certificate of compliance or occupancy being issued. 4, applicant shall address the comments provided by the New York State Department of Transportation in their memorandum dated April 6th, 2022, which shall be incorporated and verified in items 2 and 3 above. And 5, a performance bond shall be provided in accordance with Section 400-75E of the Town Code of the Town of Lancaster.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 10, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I move Resolution 10 for adoption. Whereas Keith Wilkinson has submitted an application for a special use permit for the storage of recreational vehicles on the premise locally known as 10 Lancaster Parkway in the town of Lancaster, currently zoned light industrial. And whereas in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 400, Article 6, Light Industrial District of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, any public storage and warehouse storage facilities are required to obtain a special use permit within that zoning classification. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the town of Lancaster, a public hearing on the proposed special use permit to allow storage of recreational vehicles on the premise known as 10 Lancaster Parkway, Lancaster, New York, will be held on the 5th day of December 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and that notice of time and place of such hearing be published in a newspaper of general circulation in said town and posted on the town bulletin board. And a copy of such notice of hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 11, whereas the town of Lancaster and the state of New York celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, whereas the town of Lancaster is committed to serving small business constituents, and whereas small business employs 46.8% of the employees in the private sector in the United States, and whereas Lancaster, New York supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And whereas Small Business Saturday, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving and falls between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, is essential in preserving neighborhoods that compose the landscape of our local economy and enrich its unique culture. And whereas 79% of consumers understand the importance of supporting the small business in their community on Small Business Saturday, 70% report the day makes them want to encourage others to shop small independently owned retailers, and 66% report the day makes them want to encourage others to shop small all year long. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby proclaims November 26, 2022 as Small Business Saturday and urges the residents of our community to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Leary, number 12, please.
Sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas the municipal home rule law of the state of New York and Chapter 23 of the town of Lancaster provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas a proposed local law of the year 2022 has been introduced entitled Chapter 258 Permit and Application Fees Revision, which will amend the code of the town of Lancaster by repealing the current Chapter 258 Permit and Application Fees within the town of Lancaster Town Code in its entirety and replacing it with the revised Chapter 258 Permit and Application Fees in order to comply with New York State standards, and whereas the proposed local law of 2022 shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof, and whereas pursuant to the town of Lancaster Code and the municipal home rule law, a public hearing is required on the proposed local law. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that, number one, a public hearing for the proposed local law is hereby set for the 5th day of December 2022 at 7:05 p.m. Number two, the town clerk is directed to provide notice of the public hearing as required by law. And number three, this resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 13. Now therefore be it resolved, the following completed street light public improvements within the Cross Creeks Phase 8 subdivision being hereby approved and accepted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster. It's PIP number 821 for street lights, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be directed by the town engineer to the New York State and Electric Gas Corporation with the request to energize the street lights herein. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, and then Councilmember Dickman, number 14, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I move Resolution 14 for adoption. Whereas the developer has requested that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster acknowledge the completion of the work regarding public improvements within Cross Creek Subdivision Phase 9 within the Town of Lancaster. And whereas the town engineer, by letter to the town board dated November 1st, 2022, has inspected the improvements and has recommended them to be deemed complete. And whereas the town attorney's office, by letter to the town clerk dated November 15th, 2022, has reported his favorable review for acknowledging the completion of these public improvements. Now therefore be it resolved that completed public improvement number 842 for storm sewer within Cross Creek Subdivision Phase 9B and are hereby approved and acknowledged as completed by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, Councilmember Burkhart, number 15, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 15 for adoption, whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated November 14th, 2022, has advised the Town Board that the Highway Department is in need of a company to grind and remove brush material at the Genesee Street location, 6219 Genesee Street, and whereas the Highway Superintendent solicited requests for proposals from 3 vendors in accordance with the Town of Lancaster's procurement policy, and whereas the Highway Superintendent has recommended that the Town of Lancaster award the grinding and removal of brush materials at 6219 Genesee Street to Lardon Construction for an amount not to exceed $16,350 per their proposal dated October 18th, 2022. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby accepts the proposal dated October 18th, 2022, from Lardon Construction, 108 Lake Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, for the purpose of grinding and removing the brush material located at 6219 Genesee Street, Lancaster, at a cost not to exceed $16,350, and which will be paid for with funds available in the town's 2022 refuse and garbage contractual expenses, collection and disposal of brush and wood budget, line item 02-8160-0412, and be it further resolved that the supervisor be and is hereby authorized to execute the October 18th, 2022 proposal on behalf of the town.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. And it's number 16 that we're pulling.
Yes,
So we're
16.
going to move on to Councilmember Mazur for number 17.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing on November 7th, 2022, pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Section 78, entitled Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, upon the application of Valdemar Blazak on behalf of Empire Custom Kitchen Cabinets for the special use permit to operate a custom cabinet and countertop manufacturing, storage, and retail sales facility on the premises located at 4401 Walden Avenue in the Town of Lancaster, Erie County, New York. And whereas persons for and set against such special use permit have had the opportunity to be heard, and whereas Code Enforcement Officer Matt Vachon has reviewed the special use permit application request pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Section 78, and found it to be in compliance with the zoning district requirements for the location per his letter dated September 14th, 2022, in conversation with Attorney's Office on November 16th, 2022. Now therefore be resolved that, one, that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 6, Industrial Districts, Section 400-20, Light Industrial District, L1B2F, of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a special use permit to Valdemar Blazak on behalf of Empire Custom Kitchen Cabinets to operate a custom cabinet and countertop manufacturing, storage, and retail sales facility on the premises locally known as 4401 Walden Avenue in the Town of Lancaster, New York, upon the conditions as set forth in zoning ordinance for the period November 21st, 2022 through November 20th, 2024, and two, the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth in Section 400-20 Light Industrial District, 400-22 Supplementary Regulations for LI District, and Section 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein, as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premises, namely, A, permit must be renewed every 2 years at no additional cost to the applicant. B, display area is limited to occupancy of the northern 27 spaces of parking lot. And C, applicant will provide a copy of business New York State Federal Tax Employer Identification Number, and when applicable, a license from the appropriate regulatory agency for the service being provided.
May I have a second?
Second?
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 18, and this resolve the following individuals hereby appointed to the following part-time permanent position in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department of the Town of Lancaster, working not more than 19 hours per week, and that being a part-time position, provide no health insurance, sick days, vacation, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. It's George Bess, recreation attendant, $14 an hour, effective date is November 28, 2022. Be it further resolved, the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Michelle, is it 19, or do you want 19 3/4?
19 is fine.
Okay. Okay, with that, may I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 19, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 19 for adoption. Whereas William J. Karn Jr., Chief of Police of the Town of Lancaster, has requested the creation of one additional position of Police Captain, full-time, in the Town of Lancaster Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster be and is hereby authorized to complete and submit Form PO-17 for authorization by the County of Erie Department of Personnel to create one additional position of Police Captain, full-time, in the Police Department. Be it further resolved that the Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing.
May I have a second
Second.
on the question? I just have a comment. I'm going to be voting against this, not because I'm fully against it, but I looked at the overtime of our police officers, which is way up there, and I felt that there's more of a need to create a position for a police officer to, I guess a lot of our police officers are being forced to work overtime, and I thought it would help relieve them by creating a position on the streets versus this position at this time, because again, for two reasons, the financial part of me, and the other part is to give some relief to the officers that are on the streets, that are continuing to be forced to work. So with that, on the
If I could, the police chief has already stated his need for a third captain in some detail at previous town board meetings. And if he wants to say any more, he can, but just let me finish. And also, we are moving to add another police officer onto the force to raise our number of police officers who will be on the streets. So,
I think these are replacements, these two. But
no, there was a third one that we're going to try to get. It would be a new one.
We don't have
based
that.
on our
Okay.
program with the schools. Chief, do you want to say any more on this topic? I mean, I think you've already said enough. It's completely up to you.
No, I think I've already said it.
Thank you, sir.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
No. I'd like to move resolution number 20, and be it resolved that Nash Brown is hereby appointed to the position of police officer in the Town of Lancaster Police Department effective January 9th, 2023, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiations agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the Cayuga Club Police Benefit Association, and all applicable provisions of the law. Be it further resolved that the Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, and is Nash with us tonight? Please stand up. Thank you very much for joining our force. It's great leadership there for sure. Very busy department, obviously, but I think you'll be a great contribution to them, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to move resolution number 21. Now therefore be it resolved that Jay Kowalski is hereby appointed to the position of police officer in the Town of Lancaster Police Department effective January 10th, 2023, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiations agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the Cayuga Club Police Benefit Association, and all applicable provisions of the law. And be it further resolved that Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, and is Jake with us tonight? Jake, congratulations. Again, you'll be joining a great police force. Welcome aboard. Wish you the best of luck and success with our police force. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to move resolution number 22. Now therefore be it resolved, the town justice-elect David S. Stabler of the Town of Lancaster Courts is hereby authorized to attend the Taking the Bench certification course in Castellon-on-Hudson, New York, from December 5th through December 9, 2022. Be it further resolved that a total cost of attendance for one justice at the above-mentioned training course is hereby authorized in an amount not to exceed $1,012.50 for actual and necessary expenses, including the cost of lodging, travel, and meal expenses for 5 days on the specified dates of training. And be it further resolved that all requests for reimbursement must be presented in the form of original itemized receipts for actual and necessary expenses upon submission of proper documentation to the accounting department of the town of Lancaster. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 23. Now therefore be it resolved that Christopher Guck, Lancaster, New York, being is hereby appointed a member of the Town of Lancaster Assessment Review Board for the term of December 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2027. Be it further resolved, the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Be it further resolved that according to Section 523 of the Real Property Tax Law, the clerk shall notify the Erie County Director of Real Property Services within 20 days of this appointment. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 24, and this is out of the Town Board of Town of Lancaster. Hereby authorize the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster to enter into a 3-year renewal of professional services agreement for municipal engineering service with Williams Shutt Associates Engineering and Land Surveying at 37 Central Avenue, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the proposed renewal agreement, which will commence on January 1st, 2023, and terminate on December 31st, 2025, with an optional 1-year extension. And be it further resolved that Williams Sutton Associates Engineering and Land Surveying, PC, shall provide updated insurance certificates to the town attorney's office on a yearly basis, and that the town reserves the right to terminate engineering services at any time without cause with a 90-day prior written notice. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, numbers 25 through 27, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas Keith Wilkinson has submitted an application for the approval of a 2-lot split, which included a survey dated April 27, 2022, prepared by Williams Shutt Associates and received July 12, 2022, parcel located at 10 Lancaster Parkway in the town of Lancaster. Whereas the planning board called for, notice, and held public hearing on the proposed minor subdivision on September 7, 2022, where all interested parties were allowed to be heard. And whereas the planning board completed an environmental review of the project on November 2nd, 2022, in conformance with seeker, and the town board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on November 21st, 2022, and whereas the minor subdivision plan was submitted to the planning board and was recommended for approval at their November 2nd, 2022 meeting, and whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has duly reviewed and considered the proposed minor subdivision, now therefore it be it resolved as follows. Number one, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the proposed 2-lot split, which included a survey dated April 27, 2022, prepared by Williams Shutt Associates and received July 12, 2022, parcel located at 10 Lancaster Parkway, with the following conditions. A, 7 copies of the filed deeds and surveys and proof of filing are to be delivered to the town clerk's office. B, a corrected topographical survey will need to be provided to the building department on or before December 27th, 2022, in order to receive a final certificate of occupancy. 2, that the town clerk be and hereby directed to properly endorse the approval of the town board of the town of Lancaster on a copy of the deed and survey, and to attend to the filing of the new lot created in the Erie County Clerk's office.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas Fred Donato of Donato Homes Incorporated has submitted a site plan application which contains an elevation drawing created May 26, 2022, plotted May 27, 2022, and site development drawings, including a cover sheet dated November 21, with a final revision date of May 10, 2022, and prepared by Carmina Wood Morris, DPC. Topographical survey dated July 6, 2021, by GPI Engineering. Various other drawings with revisions drafted by Carmina Wood Morris, DPC, all received on May 31st, 2022, for the proposed construction of a shop and storage site to include 13 storage unit buildings, a storage office building, and 4 warehouse shop office buildings with 43 parking spaces to be located at 5841 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster. And whereas the site plan for this project was submitted to the planning board and was recommended for approval at their July 20th, 2022 meeting, and whereas the town planning board has completed an environmental review for the project on January 19th, 2022, in conformance with seeker, and the town board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on April 18th, 2022. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the site plan submitted by Fred Donato of Donato Homes Incorporated, which contain elevation drawings created May 26, 2022, and plotted May 27th, 2022. Site development drawings including a cover sheet dated November 2021, with a final revision date of May 10th, 2022, prepared by Carmina Wood Morris, DPC, a topographical survey dated July 6, 2021, by GPI Engineering. Various other drawings with revisions drafted by Carmina Wood Morris, DPC, all received on May 31st, 2022, for the proposed construction of a shop and storage site to include 13 storage unit buildings, a storage office building, and 4 warehouse shop office buildings with 43 parking spaces to be located at 5841 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster. The following conditions: PIP permit will be required to initiate construction. 2, contractor to provide an as-built survey to the building department prior to any certificates of compliance or occupancy being issued. 3, performance bonds shall be provided in accordance with Section 475E of the Town Code of the Town of Lancaster. 4, comments per New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation's letter dated December 23, 2021, regarding Donato pre-contact site locus 4 must be implemented and proof provided to the town.
May I have a second? Second. On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 27, Mr. Supervisor, now Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing November 7th, 2022, pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Section 78, entitled Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, upon the application of Fred Donato on behalf of Donato Homes Incorporated for a special use permit to operate a 13-unit storage building on the premises locally known as 5841 Genesee Street in the Town of Lancaster, Erie County, New York. And whereas persons for and against such special use have had an opportunity to be heard, and whereas per letter dated July 21st, 2022, Code Enforcement Officer Matt Fischone has reviewed the special use permit application request pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Section 78, and found it to be in compliance with the zoning district requirements for this location. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 6, Industrial Districts, 400-20 Light Industrial Districts of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a special use permit to Fred Donato on behalf of Donato Homes Incorporated to operate a 13-unit storage building on the premises located locally known as 5841 Genesee Street in the Town of Lancaster, New York, upon the conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period November 21st, 2022 through November 20th, 2024. And 2, the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth in 400-20 Light Industrial District, 400-22 Supplementary Regulations for LI District, and Section 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and 2, any additional conditions listed herein as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premises, namely, A, permit must be renewed every 2 years at no additional cost to the applicant. B, storage shall be solely for the insides of the facility. There shall be no outside storage of any vehicles, materials, equipment, or containers of any type. And C, applicant will provide a copy of the business's New York State Federal Tax Employer Identification Number, and when applicable, a license from the appropriate regulatory agency for the service being provided.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules to present suspended resolution number 28?
Motion to suspend?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Granted.
Now therefore be it resolved, I'd like to move resolution number 28. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby recognizes the appointment of Mark S. Sonner of Buffalo, New York, to the position of Director of Finance, Director of Administration and Finance in the Supervisor's Office of the Town of Lancaster, effective November 22nd, 2022, pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the Civil Service Law. Be it further resolved that Mark S. Sonner being is hereby appointed to the full-time position of Director of Administration and Finance in the Town of Lancaster Supervisor's Office at an annual salary of $73,333.75 on step, which represents 85% of the full salary of $86,275, and contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel. Be it further resolved, the Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, and that, actually, Pam is going to be leaving us. We wish her the best of luck. She spent 3 years with us, but she's going to settle into retirement.
Thank you for your service, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to communications. Number 737 is code enforcement resolution. 738 is received and filed. 739, code enforcement and for resolution. 740 is received and filed. 741 and 42 is planning committee. 743 is received and filed. 744 and 745 are resolution tonight. 746, code enforcement and for resolution. 747 through 750 received and filed. 751 and 52 are code enforcement and for resolution. 753 is received and filed. 754 and 755 and 756 as well are resolution tonight. 757 through 760, Planning Committee. 761, received and filed, and Police. 762 is received and filed. 763, Planning Committee. 764 for resolution. 765, received and filed. 766 through 68 are resolution tonight. 769, received and filed. 770 is resolution tonight. 771 is received and filed and Rec Department. And Michelle, can you or somebody respond to this gentleman for 771? There's a request to reply. Thank you. And then 772 through 774 received and filed. Okay, we come to the point where anybody could comment to the town board with a 5-minute limit at any subject matter. I'll look and recognize any hands in the audience. Yes, sir.
Greg Soika, 19 Spruceland Terrace. Supervisor Rufino, on number 23, the appointment of Chris Guck. What are the qualifications for being a assessment review board member, and is it a paid position or volunteer?
It's a paid position, and that's actually the chairperson of that committee basically gave the recommendation. The town board agreed with it.
And what does it pay?
I'd have to get my budget thing. What is it, 1,200, what is it? Oh, no, it's paid by the meetings, right? That one, yeah.
Okay. And then to number 24, you signed up William Shutt and Associates for a 3-year renewal. Were there any other bids for that, or was it just given to him or just renewed again?
It was renewed.
So there were no other bids or engineers brought in to bid on the project?
No.
Is that common practice?
So I believe they kept the same rate, yeah, that they've had for years and years. We felt them to be most favorable in the past. The other thing is, if you switch engineers, you're also taking all the experience that they have invested into this town. So again, it's sometimes it's not worth, attempting to go. If they would have raised the price, then yeah, then we would have to bid it. I would think the proper procedure would be to bid it out. But since they've been keeping the same price for, I can't remember, I mean, it's been numerous years, probably less.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least 6 years, that the price has been the same. They have not raised their prices, for what they do for our services since, 6 years ago. So, and again, I think the big factor is that they've been here for quite some time, doing the job, and to replace them, would be difficult. Not that it would be difficult, but there would be some up-ramping that the new engineering service would have to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session. We have 2 under number 1. We have a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session?
May I have a second?
Second.
And on the roll, please.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Thank you, everybody, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Spend time with your families. Enjoy. Yeah. 771.
Right?
You're right. You're right. Okay, so let's